All right, 6th grade, here is your review guide for your rational numbers part 2. We're going to start up here with number 1. The first one is 0. So we have to think about if 0 is a natural number, a whole number, an integer, or rational. And in your notes, you have a gold square note sheet that has all the definitions for those numbers, so you might want to pull that out and look at it. The first one is natural. Natural numbers are numbers that you can count on your fingers and your toes that you naturally start with. So when we start counting on our fingers and our toes, we start with the number 1. So 0 is not a natural number, so we want to leave that one blank. Whole numbers are natural numbers and 0, so we do want to mark that one. If a number is a whole number, then it's also an integer. And if it's an integer, then it is also a rational number. So the only 3 X's you should have on the first one are whole, integer, and rational. Looking at the second one, we have the fraction 3/4. The only place that we ever put fractions is in the rational category. Okay, because rational numbers are fractions and decimals. Okay, the number 5, we can naturally count up to 5 on our fingers and our toes, so we're going to mark it as natural. And if something is natural, then it's also a whole number. And if it's a whole number, it's also an integer. And if it's an integer, it's also rational. So we need to have every single one of those marked for that one. The next one, we have -1/2. We see that that's a fraction, so we know the only place it can be is rational. Number -26. We cannot naturally count to -26 on our fingers and our toes, so we're going to leave that one alone. -26 is also not a whole number, but it is an integer, which are whole numbers and their opposites. So we're going to go ahead and mark that one down. And if any number is an integer, then it's also rational. Okay? Check to make sure that your review guide looks like mine, and then we're going to move on to number 2. Number 2 says, which set of rational numbers is correctly ordered from greatest to least? This one tripped a lot of you guys up when we did this in class, because when we have a negative number, the lower number that's closer to 0 is actually the greatest number. So we would want to choose letter B. Okay? Even though 2 and 35/100ths is a bigger number without the negative, because with the negative, it makes it the least. Okay? Moving on to number 3, it says choose the point that is located at -3 and 35/100ths on the number line. So even before we start looking at the problem, we need to think about what numbers that it would be in between. So if we have -3 and 35/100ths, that would be between -3 and -4. So we can automatically cross out letter C and letter D. So our choices are left for A and B. Looking at the number line, if I make 3 jumps from the whole number -3, I land at this tick mark right here, and I can see that I just need to go a 100th more, 5/100ths more, and that would mark it right there in between. So our choice would be letter B. Moving on to number 4, Lily is plotting the following numbers on a number line. Which of the following would be plotted to the right of 1/4? So if I had a number line down here, and I had 0 in the middle, I would have 1/4 about right here. I want all the numbers to the right. So those would be all the positive numbers, or all the numbers bigger than 1/4. So we need to decide of these numbers, which ones are greater than 1/4. First thing we need to do is change 1/4 to a decimal. How we do that is we need to grab our calculator, and we need to take the numerator, 1, divided by the denominator, 4, and we get our answer of 25/100ths. So now I need to look at my choices down below and pick any number that is greater than 25/100ths. Looking at this one, we can circle that. 55/100ths is bigger than 25/100ths. My second choice is a fraction, so I need to change that fraction into a decimal. I need to do 2 divided by 5, and I would get 4/10ths. If you want to go ahead and add an imaginary 0 on there so that gives you a better visual, you can see that 40/100ths is bigger than 25/100ths, so this one would also be greater. I have 1/3, so I'm going to do 1 divided by 3 in my calculator, and I would get 0 and 33 hundredths. That actually goes on forever and ever and ever, so we can just put a line above it to show that it's a repeating decimal. And if you want to add another 0, or you can put another 3 on there, you totally can, just to show that this is 33 hundredths is bigger than the 25 hundredths. Circle that choice. 18 hundredths is smaller than 25 hundredths, so that would not be one we'd want to circle. And then the last one is 2 and 10, 2 over 10. Divide that, and we would get 2/10. If you want to add a 0 on there, you can see that that one is less than 25 hundredths, so we do not want to choose that one either. So these 3 need to be checked marked in Canvas to get full credit on that question. Number 5, write the following numbers in order from greatest to least. Okay, it says convert all the values to decimal format and place the answer in original form. So for the first one, it's already in decimal format. We're good there. This is the next one we need to look at, 2 and 2/3. We know if a number is in front of the fraction that that's the whole number that goes in front of the decimal. And then we need to take our calculator and divide that fraction, 2 divided by 3. And we would get 6 repeating. So I can just put a 6 like that. That line over the 6 just means it's repeating on forever and ever. The next one, same thing. I've got a whole number in front of my fraction, so that whole number needs to go in front of my decimal. And then I need to divide 1 divided by 5. And I get 2/10. So I just need to put that 2 after the decimal. And now I'm ready to put them in order. What I like to do is to stack them on top of one another. And if you want to add your imaginary zeros so they all match in the hundredths place, you can. And now I'm good to put them in order from greatest to least. The greatest one is going to be my 2 and 6/10, which was actually 2 and 2/3. My second one would be the 2 and 45 hundredths. 2 and 3/10. And then the last one would be 2 and 1/5. And you can cross them off as you do them to show that you've put them in order, if that helps you. And this is the order that should be in Canvas. Flipping it over, it says, the following jumps were recorded for long jump at a track meet. The top 3 longest jumps get a medal. Which athlete did not earn a medal? Okay, so looking at the 4 athletes, all of them got 12 feet when they jumped. So I'm actually going to cross that 12 out since it all matches. And that tells me that I need to now look at the inches of their jump. Okay, I'm going to start with my whole numbers. So I'm going to put my finger over anything after the decimal. And I'm looking at it and it's a 5, a 6, and a 7. Well, if I want the biggest jump, I need to look for the biggest whole number, which would be the 7. So Malik would take first place. Then I look for the second largest whole number, and that would be the 6. So Liam would take second place. Now looking at Cameron and Giovanni, they both got a 5 inches. So I need to go look at the 10th place now. And 3 would be bigger than 2, so Cameron would take third place, which would leave the athlete Giovanni with not earning a medal. Okay? So you need to choose letter B. Number 7, it says Carter has 6 of his 8 friends over to play a video game. Write a fraction to represent his situation. 6 of his 8, I would put 6 as the numerator, 8 as the denominator. To change that fraction to a decimal, we need to take out our calculator and divide our numerator divided by our denominator, 6 divided by 8, and we would get 75 hundredths. Changing that decimal of 0.75 or 75 hundredths to a percent, we know percent means per 100, so we need to multiply that decimal by 100. And we would get an answer of 75%. Make sure you have that percent sign in Canvas or it's going to mark it wrong for you. Moving on to number 8, it says write the following decimal as a mixed number in simplest form. We know that any number in front of the decimal is a whole number, so I like to put mine very large to help me remember that that's going to be the whole number in front of the fraction. And then I need to look at the part behind the decimal, and I know that number is 52. So I'm going to put that as my numerator. And then I need to look at what the last number is and what place value that is. So the 5 is in the tenths place, and the 2 is in the hundredths place. So we know if the last number ends in the hundredths place, our denominator would be 100. We want it in simplest form, so I'm going to rewrite my whole number of a 2, and then to check to see if it's in simplest form, I'm going to take 52. We're going to use that ABC button that we've showed you in class over 100. And it does simplify down to 13 over 25. I'm going to make sure that answer is circled so I know which one to put in Canvas. And then my last one, number 9. Write the fraction as a decimal. And actually in Canvas, it's going to ask you to put it to the nearest tenth. Okay. So to change a fraction to a decimal, we need to take the numerator 8 divided by the denominator of 12. And we would get an answer of 0.6666. So we know that 6 goes on forever. To round it to the nearest tenth, which is this place value, we need to look at the number beside it, which would be in the hundredths place. And that 6 in the hundredths place tells that 6 in the tenths place to go up to a 7, right? 5 or above, give it a shove. So your final answer should be 7/10. There you go. I hope you guys study and are prepared for your test tomorrow. Good luck.